So, all right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Well, you're wondering you saw me at this time? Yes, because I told us once I have ministrations or I have a location, definitely it will be rescheduled to maybe earlier time. So, and I don't want to deprive you of the class today because it's a wonderful time. It's a wonderful time. So please go ahead and invite people, invite your friends and family, invite as many people as possible. I love the feel of the light at the back, the key light, the field light, and no backlight here. All right, so the field light and the key light is very, very good. My key light is coming and my field light is here, so that you can have a very wonderful time together. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you so much. Please go ahead and invite people. Let's go straight away. All right, so I just want to do maybe like 30-40 minutes or thereabouts with us this morning, maybe 40. All right, so I will just make sure I stop it at a very, very good time. Today is Thursday. Today is 11th of January 2018. All right, so let's go. We are still on the question of Dapo Adelugba, on the question with Dapo Adelugba, Church Practice in Nigeria by Professor ADEMOLA O.DASYLVA. We stopped it yesterday at facilitation of the 7-day workshop of the community when they start in a particular city and they move on to exchange to complete it and all that. And they also talk about UNICEF program with the theater people in UI. All right, University of Ibadan. So we continue from where we stopped, and we talk about empowerment. We talk about the empowerment of women, empowerment of the children, development, and all that. So that's where we stopped yesterday. So let's go. The answer continues. Let me to help us, because of the transcribers. They will just merge it together, but to help us, there's something I consider very fundamental to practice theater practice in Nigeria, which I almost forgot to discuss with you in this interview: community theater and theater for development. That is what we are. My name is Paul-Esupofo, the lead instructor of Special Drama Film School Online. By the grace of God, let me quickly give this announcement. January to March, we are available for as many of you. For as many of you who really want to have us in your church, in your ministry, in your organization to do training, special drama filmmaking workshop. So you can contact us and we can talk and all that. It's actually free of charge, but terms and conditions are also applied. All right, let's go. What I mean by terms and conditions: you get the venue for us, you get the location for us, you get accommodation if at all we're going to do something. But we don't charge. We don't eat in charge. No, say okay, pay 200 million before we come, pay 200,000 before we come. For now, we don't. All right, so let's go. So these 3 days theoretical first phase and the 7-day practical field work, the second phase, were replicated on the 4 zones such as they were at the time. Please let me know who you are. If you are there, then the name, the country. Just if you can hear me very well, just say yes, 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 yes. I know you can hear me very well. Please let me hear you. Let me know you can hear me very well. So what was started that we went to saying they started in the Premier Hotel Ibadan and they went to Shein. So it now say so this 3-day theoretical first phase and the 7-day practical field work, the second phase, were replicated in the 4 zones such as they were at the time. Later on, UNICEF broadened the arrangement to 6 zones. But when we began the work in 1998, which was the year the ministry started, my ministry started, there were only, that's 20 years ago, there were only 4 zones. There are only 4 zones. And then northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest. And again, we relied on the artistic directors whom UNICEF had worked with during the 1991 to 1995 period. In the case of the Southwest Division, Jimmy Solanke. In the case of the Southeast, we have a Newton Bara. Okay, Bara. Maybe I don't know. Bara. All right, I don't want to call it in any way. It's maybe like sound like Barbara for me, but it's a Bara. In the case of the Northwest, we have Ruth Sankey, and in the case of Northeast, we have Mate Dadizi, which I told us yesterday. These 4 artists All right, sorry, the network, okay, went up. I was thinking what happened. So let me go. It said the artistic one, and all these 4 artistic happen to have their own companies. They opened their companies. Jimmy Solanke had a company, the PTMGM, based at Ile-Ife. You know, and I happened to see one of the children of Jimmy Solanke, which she's married now based in UK and all that. So Jimmy Solanke had a company in Ile-Ife, cotton, not the Ilera Loro. No, the Ilera Loro was the troop at Isheyin. One of those Jimmy had trained, and we shall come to them when we discuss the 1991 to 1995 period. But we are concerned more with our own input, which was largely during the 1998 to 2003 period. Please help me check whether the network is fine, whether the video is fine. Let me know. Give me the feedback. Thank you, Akintoye Akinwole. Thank you so much. So thank you very much. I want your feedback. If it's very, very clean, let me know. Just give me a thumb up if it is very, very clean. All right. So I will come back to the 1991 to 1995 period. So from the 4, you know, that's why I say so. I'm not just giving my so, it's actually reading so, because the man was giving me so. So I begin to say so, you know, as if, you know, but it's okay. So from the 4 zone, we ran 4 zonal workshop. We had not done any other workshop since the breaking into 6 zones. And these 4 zonal workshops took place in the month of June and July 1999. As you will recall, there were elections in December 1998, we know, and we lost 1 day out of the 7 day we had planned for Isheyin in order that everybody might be able to get back to his or her community, to exercise their civic right, and as not to get embarrassed on the road. Okay, so please, have you shared the video? In case you have not shared this video, go ahead and share the video. Share the video right now. Share the video right now. Share the video. Okay, I'm sorry it's always 9:30, but this morning because of administration, in fact, they called me from that place to say, am I on my way already? Because I think the place is very far inside. So they asked me, am I on my way already? So I just have to make sure that, though the time is still far, but I just want to make sure I save my head. All right, because it's the first time, first impression lasts longer. Okay, so the Southwest workshop was so coordinated jointly by Jimmy Solanke and our representative, who happened to have been head of department, Professor Osofison. They were the co-coordinators of the Southwest workshop. The Southeast workshop was so co-coordinated with Newton Barabara of the double barrel productions, and Professor Ari Iyowese Agna who was representing the head of the Department of Theatre at the University of Ibadan. Professor Agra, due to unforeseen circumstances, had to be away most of the time, and each time he was away, Dr. Malomo, who was new to the project, was delegating for him. Okay, you understand that? That's a very big one, and you know it's an opportunity when you have people who can give you a support, when you're not there. And several times I told them in the ministry, I said, understudy me very well, because sometimes I may not be at home and you have to do the work. And all of them were like, oh, not for relocating, but sometimes if I have outreach so much outside, what do you do? Or what will you do? Will you tell me, oh, sorry, I don't know about, you know? You just have to look at a lot of things, getting so many things done and all that. So let's go. Cotton, was he part of the training of trainers, beneficiaries? That's a question from the Professor O.DASYLVA. And the response. Dr. Malomo was part of the training of trainers workshop in the Southeast. He only stood in for Professor Agar when the latter had to travel. In the Northeast, we had Martin Dadizi, and his Epitome production, and he and myself, Dapo Adelugba, were the co-coordinators of the Northeast workshop. And as for Northwest, the workshop was so coordinated by Ruth Sankey of Space 2000, that's his own company, Space 2000, and Dr. Lanre Bamitale of the University of Ibadan, Department of Theatre Arts, Department of Theatre Arts, who represented the head of department. This first zonal workshop used patterns similar to that of national workshop to guide the flow of activities. For instance, talking about Southwest, the theoretical work was done at Osogbo, and this was followed by the 7-day field works. At Ibokun near Ilesha. Okay, at Ibokun near Ilesha. Okay, Osun State. The Northwest Syndrome was particularly exciting because Ruth Sankey, who was the artistic director there, was one of the first product of Michael Helterson Community Theatre Project at Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. And indeed, for the first zonal workshop, apart from the 2 co-coordinators in each zone, experts in the community were brought in. For instance, I know that for the Southwest workshop, Dimitri Lanke and Professor Officer brought in people like Dr. Charles Uji, Dr. Uji, UJI of the Department of Dramatic Art, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and Mr. Uko Atai, UKO Atai, ATAI Atai, okay, and a few others. For the Southeast, Miss Amatu Bride, BRIDE of the University of Port Harcourt, and Dr. Emmanuel Oga OGA of the University of Port Harcourt. Counterparts from relevant ministries, people from the art councils, the director of the various art councils, the museum, etc. For the Northeast, which I was part of, we had, in addition to Dapo Adelugba and Martin Dadizi, Dr. John Ila, triple L A H from the University of Jos, who was the head of Department of Theatre and Communication of UniJos at that point in time. He was an invaluable resource person. And we also had for the Northeast workshop one Ahmed Mohammed Ahmed, who was one of the earlier product of the Theatre for the Development Program at the University of Jos. And at that time, he was working with the Bauchi Arts Council. So for zonal workshops, we try as much as possible to replicate the concept which had been so formidable carried out at the National Training of Trainers workshop. What we had embarked upon, but which we have been told to slow down upon, is an assessment of the impact. We want to assess what kind of growth has taken place in those 4 communities which we did the fieldwork, and what kind of work the trainer who were retrained in those 5 workshops are doing, what kind of work they have been doing in their various communities. Take the Southwest, for instance. Jimmy Sodake and Professor Officer brought from all over the zone experts who had been working during the 1991 to 1995 period with Gumizio Dagron and Jimmy Shulanke. I want to go back to 1991 to 1995 period. At that time, although the work has been broadly in the area of community theatre, a lot of the plays were made for the community by the experts following the ideas of that pamphlet, Facts for Life, prepared by UNICEF. It was an important pioneer venture, but I think Botoloi Warite showed foresight in proposing the shift from making plays for the community to getting the community to make their own plays, and in essence help to ensure the continuity of productivity. And we want in the near future to go around those 4 zones based where we had our zonal workshops, and it's saying where we had the national workshop, and the various communities where those whom we trained in 1998 to 1999 period have been made their impact in the last 4 years. We want to see what kind of development there has been. So we say that the Department of Theatre at University of Ibadan can probably state that there has been Xylosol, C-Y-N-O-S-U-R-E, all right? Cynosure of all eyes in the syndrome of theater for development, using the child survivor and women's empowerment approach as the main area of concentration. Another question, which is, let me check my time. Okay, good. It is maybe like I'm going to take 2 more questions or 3 more questions, then I will leave the class for this morning. All right. During the period phase of the National Training of Trainers workshop, why the choice of Ishayin? Why not Oyo? Why not some other places? Response. 2 things. 2 things guided us. Number 1, the frequency with which workshop has been done in some areas. You say, why not Oyo? There have been earlier workshop in Oyo, and we thought that in the interest of a national spread, we were obliged to try new communities from time to time. Now, Ishayin was not just arbitrarily chosen. Neither was the Premier Hotel Ibadan, and I think at this point we should mention the other places in the southeast zone. The town work was done in Abakaliki and Ndufu. Umbudu was the village. Some of you will laugh because you are from that place now. Umbudu was the village chosen for the community work. Then in the northeast, Kano was the town base, and Bichi was the village. Bichi was the village base, and for the northwest, Zaria was chosen for the town base, and one village, Giwa was chosen for the community work. And in all 4 zones, we had what we call the assistant coordinators of UNICEF. Assistant coordinators of UNICEF. They are zonal assistant coordinators for information and communication. What they call the ZAICOS. The Z capital letter A, Z capital letter AICOS. And the Zycos in the 4 zone had done a lot of preliminary research work to find out what communities needed to be imparted on since they had not benefited from previous impact of UNICEF, which communities we offer both the concept of a small village community and the relative infrastructure which would make the workshop not too painful for the participant. So these 4 communities chosen in the various zones were such community as said, their choices were not automatic. The decision was based on assessment of other options, and the places decision was based on assessment of other options, and places eventually chosen just happened to have won out in terms of preferences based on the priorities of the workshop. Another question. I thought you said that you were slowed down for specific reason. Was the pace too fast for UNICEF or something? Response. The pace was not too fast for UNICEF, but UNICEF complained that its budgetary situation was cutting. They cannot accommodate? No, they didn't even say that. For instance, they say that although we had gathered all the national workshop from late November 98 to the first week of December 98, and we were told that we would move on to the zonal workshop as early as say February or March 1999. The money was not forthcoming, and therefore UNICEF could not give final approval. They could not give final approval for the running of zonal workshop until July 1999. So that was a kind of slowing down, in the sense that we had hoped that by February, March 1999, we would have done the zonal workshops. Okay, let's go. I'm about to stop. Get to some place now. These zonal coordinators, these ZAICOs, they were meant to be facilitators. Cutting. They were in the administrative side of the project. They did not replace the artistic directors or their coordinator from university. Did they experience any form of hindrance as a result of these cycles? Maybe they did not cooperate or something. They cooperated fully. Were they officials too? Yes, they were officials of UNICEF, and they saw the project as a joint project between UNICEF and University of Ibadan Theatre Arts Department. I would say that they cooperated fully. Mark you, they were not able to spend 24 hours a day with us because they had other assignments, and the Theatre for Development assignment was one of those several other assignments. But I would say that all the cycles cooperated fully. All of them cooperated fully. So that's where I want to stop this. Let me see the time. Okay, let me just stop at this place. Sorry. Okay, let me just stop at this place because I don't want to rush the rest. The rest is so big. But let me try one last question for this morning, so you can enjoy it. Really, you can enjoy it. One more question. Now, having touched on the concept, I guess what implementation of this concept, of this initial stage, at the initial stage and the workshop must have had their effect. I mean the multiplier effect. I also think that this apparent shift from the university base to the community base, a kind of town and gown arrangement, is a novel dimension to the degree that it in a way guarantees the sustainability of the project. Was there any plan to integrate this same concept to university curriculum for the training of theater students for the purpose of perfecting this sustainability? That was in fact the centerpiece. What we have reported so far is a byproduct. The workshop were effort towards achieving an ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is, of course, the spreading of sweetness and light, as the British literary scholar Matthew Arnold will put it. The spreading of the sweetness and light by our graduates in the larger Nigerian community. And so the center of our own Theatre for Development is the curriculum that have in the last so many years built into is the curriculum. They have in the last so many years built into curriculum a course THA 332, which we call popular / community theatre, oriented towards theatre for development. At the 300 level and at the 400 level, the students are asked to choose a topic for their project essay in the broad area of the theatre for development option. And what has happened in recent years is that we have been able to get UNICEF to understand that area of stress has a long-term potential and value. So in the last 2 years, UNICEF has supported our final year students in part funding their project in the community and in typing up and binding up their final project, etc. It is hoped that this emphasis on the students' project, bearing in mind the fact that it will lead to published materials in the field of theatre for development, should be the duty of the founding department of UNICEF in the years ahead. So UNICEF, we're addressing UNICEF. They said when they have a crisis some years ago now that they will not be able, the Japan major crisis of tsunamis and the earthquake and all those things that happened at that time really affected the finance of the UNICEF, but they are still doing a wonderful thing. So UNICEF in the last 2 years has funded our students' final year project thesis, and they have also funded 1 or 2 MA projects, and we are hoping that in the years immediately ahead, 2003, 2004, that was then, all right, etc., that the partnership will lead to the funding of more of our projects. So indeed, let me state that what happened in the southwest zone with our students going to Osogbo and Ibukun to be part of the zonal workshop and its 2 phases, we tend to make a kind of norm for the future. We are hoping that the techniques and skill learned in those initial workshops could be replicated by our own students when they go to the communities at the 400 level and at the MA, MPhil and PhD level to do their own work. We are sure that over the 4-5 years, Theatre for Development will acquire very strong roots, not only at the University of Ibadan but nationwide. And that is why we have the books project, which is in 3 parts. The first book, which brings together the experiences of national and zonal workshops, I'm editing. Well, I pray somebody will get this book out one day, all right, because the man is late. The second book is the How to Do It manual, a kind of practical workshop, a how to do it workshop book, which people outside the university, such as say the catechist or the preacher or the school teacher or the nurse or the dispenser, can take up and make a guide to their own work in the theater for development land in their communities. Then, of course, we have what we call definitive book, which we have appointed Professor Osofo as editor of, which will be a kind of 6 to 7 chapter theoretical book on the nitty-gritty of theater for development, with the child survivor and women's empowerment emphasis. So we are hoping that these 3 books will be found useful by dramatic art, performing art, and theater art, and I also add my own creative art department all over the country. And we would like to invite people from all the universities and relevant parastatals to a launching ceremony when all these books are ready. So we need to look out for those books. The national and zonal books and workshops book I edited is virtually ready. What we expect is to have more photographs from the 4 zonal artistic directors, Martin Dadizi, Ruth Sankey, Newton Bara, and Jim Solanke. Regarding the manual, we are waiting to hear from Dr. John Ila, Associate Professor, maybe now full Professor, who is the editor on our behalf. Since we see the books project as a national project, we think the editorship should also have a national spread. And of course, Professor Osofo is editing the definitive theoretical book, and we are hoping that in the next few weeks those 3 books will be ready so that we can move on to the next phase, which is launching the books. And in the meantime, maybe even before the launching, we are considering the idea of sending copies around to all the universities and art councils and getting the initial comments of our colleagues in the various parts of the country. That's where I'm going to stop this morning. Thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate all of you. I really thank God for your life, and I thank God for your patience. Tomorrow, by the grace of God, 9:30 a.m. Nigeria time, that will be Friday. And our Saturday, we still have part 2 of the brilliancy versus intelligence. Brilliance versus intelligence, rather. Brilliance versus intelligence. We're going to be talking about that. You can see that what has happened under the ground of the theater department or department of English or faculty of art, you discover that, in fact, everybody now see University but as a pace setter, as people that everybody emulated, and people had to follow them and see for themselves and see, oh, this is how this thing be done, this is how it should be done, this is how it should be done, and it has been a very, very wonderful time, and all that. It has really been a serious thing, and that's a whole lot of things that people need to place respect on. People need to place respect on. Need to place a whole lot of things on. Thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate you. Monday through Friday is 9:30 a.m. Nigeria time. Saturday and Sunday is 9:30 p.m. Nigeria time, respectively. Saturday is asking of question and interactive. You can call to the program through Skype, through phone, if anyone is convenient for you, or you call directly to a line and all that. It's going to be awesome and all that. Tomorrow is going to be a very powerful thing. Thank you very much. The Lord bless you. Do have a wonderful time. God bless you. Bye.